I don't.
Me neither. It's garbage.
It's awful.
It is terrible. It is terrible trash.
Anyway, we're a podcast where we talk about anime that we don't like.
It's called The Protagonist Seat, and we hate all anime.
We hate all of it.
And we rant on it for hours.
Last time, or like 2 or 3 sessions ago, Ian was sick. Now I am sick.
It spreads almost like it's some kind of virus.
Or a disease.
Or a sickness.
Anyway, this is The Protagonist Seat. I'm Alex. That's Ian.
Yeah, that is me. He was referring to.
Yeah, we're going to talk about winter 2019 anime, which is so far pretty good.
Yeah, we have a list of approximately 10.
And one leftover.
And one leftover, which is pretty good because it's JoJo.
JoJo!
Gold Experience. I love JoJo.
Yeah, this was an awesome episode.
Stand battles are always great, and I love them.
So basically, in this episode, we almost lose Mista.
Yes, we still have the ticking clock battle formula going, where there's some kind of danger that presents itself that's like, hey, you need to beat this battle in a certain amount of time, because Grateful Dead, though.
Yeah, Grateful Dead's ability is he's rapidly aging everybody on the train, and if they don't stop him quickly, they're all going to turn into old men and die.
Yes, and the way to counter this is by lowering your body temperature with ice, because apparently women have lower body temperatures. It doesn't make much sense.
And he originally, at where the last episode left off with, Mista was going to go and assassinate them, but he ended up getting caught by Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. He goes to turn on the air conditioning, and then the hook embeds itself in his hand, and it begins pulling him towards the man who looks kind of like a plantain.
Yeah, the man with a chin.
And his skin is like rubbery or something, because anytime his brother like grabs him, it sounds like he's just squeezing a balloon.
Yeah, he's always just like grabbing him by the chin.
It's weird. It is weird, and I do not like him.
Yeah, I don't like the way he looks. I want him taken out quickly.
It bothers me. And to be honest, I feel like everyone in the show would be a lot better off if he just got taken out immediately.
Yeah, but anyway, he sucks. Mista easily is about to beat him.
Yeah, he literally cowers after Mista shoots at him with his gun stand, because his stand affects a gun.
But turns out that the Grateful Dead stand user turned himself into an old man to blend in with the crowd.
A clever tactic.
And right before Mista's about to shoot his partner, he jumps out at him and then grabs onto him, and apparently his stand is more powerful if he makes physical contact with you.
And there's a lot of physical contact going on. Mista is quickly drained of life. And, we see him essentially crumple to the ground with him and his old stand, which also ages with him, I guess.
Yeah, his stand ages, and as he drops to the ground and he collapses, the guy does his speech again about how, they don't say they're going to kill people.
They just kill people.
And he takes Mista's gun and shoots 3 shots into Mista's head.
Yeah, holy shit. He just shoots him right in the head 3 times and then walks away, because they're both like, hold on, we missed something in that cabin. So they go and they figure out it's a turtle.
Yeah, and then as they're about to go and finish off the rest of the gang members inside, they notice, hey, Bucharity is gone.
Someone's missing. Someone escaped the turtle. What's going on? And then surprise attack. Sticky fingers from the ceiling.
And they notice he has one of his little zipper portals in the ceiling. And as he jumps out of it, he also has Mista's stand on his shoulder.
Turns out Mista hid an ice cube in his hat, which made one of his stands, one of the 6 bullet stand things he has, not age. That stand then prevented the 3 bullets from killing him. They still entered his head, but not very far, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he went to go tell...
And the other one, was shot off to go warn the others.
Yeah. So he goes and tells Bucharati.
And yeah, there's a sick fight between Bucharati and the Grateful Dead, because Sticky Fingers is a lot faster and can hit a lot harder.
But as you continue fighting, your body burns more calories, increasing its internal temperature,
And he gets older.
causing him to age, and his stand begins to slow down.
And then he gets grappled by the Grateful Dead stand user, and he's like, "Ha, you've lost." And he's like, "No, I was prepared for this."
Because it's JoJo.
And then he grabs onto him, and you notice a zipper line is completely surrounding the part of the train they're on, and he opens it up to basically throw them off the train.
And then the episode ends. Holy shit. I mean...
I have a feeling that they're both gonna, as they fly out, the dude with the fishing hook stand is gonna pull them back in.
That's what I think. Because it would make sense, because he was knocked unconscious in the battle because Bucciarati himself is just physically stronger than him, so he just kicks him right in the head and knocks him out.
Yeah.
And that is actually kind of awesome. But this, I mean, something's gotta happen. Something's gotta happen.
Something's gotta happen.
Yeah, part 2 next week. Am much excite.
And you know what else I'm excited for?
Is it the rising of the S.H.I.E.L.D. hero?
Yes, we get to see him rise a little more this time by buying a slave.
Yeah. Now he has a second party member consisting of a slave raccoon girl.
Yeah, who, as a slave, has to listen to him.
Turns out they are cursed with this weird sigil, and that's painted over by the blood of
the master.
Master. So basically, the master issues an order, and if she doesn't follow, she is racked with horrible pain until eventually she dies.
And you learn a bit about her. I think her name's Raftalia.
Yeah, Raftalia.
You learn a bit about her backstory, that her parents were killed in the first wave, and apparently the demi-humans that they're called, like the beast folk people.
Yeah.
Apparently they look up to the S.H.I.E.L.D. hero legend, because apparently the S.H.I.E.L.D. hero was the one that was nice to them. Which explains probably why the S.H.I.E.L.D. hero gets shat on by every other human.
Yeah, racism.
Yeah.
I went to another world with racism.
In another world with racism.
But he buys Raftalia, and, he buys her like a sword, and he buys her like a meal, and then he forces her to kill things so she can get stronger.
But then over time, he kind of he sees that she doesn't like it, so he's not going to make her. There's one part where he orders her to, but she's, refusing, or because she's scared and she's in pain. And he's like, you know what, forget it.
Yeah.
He's like, just run, I'll hold it off. But then she realizes, hey, this guy has been somewhat nice to me.
I don't want him to die.
So I'm going to help protect him.
Basically, the progression of the whole episode is they go out, she kills some orange balloons, they go back, he buys her more food. They go out, she kills a rabbit, which is her first thing that bleeds, and she's like, I don't want to do that. And he's like, fuck it, just kill the rabbit. And then he asks someone where a good place to make some quick cash is. That person is like, the mines.
Yeah, the mines, but there's a bunch of monsters in there from the first wave.
Yeah, ever since the first wave came, all them monsters just live in that mine, almost like it's some kind of dungeon. So our brave hero is like, we'll go in, and then if something shows up we don't like, we'll just leave. Turns out they don't do that. He sees like a two-headed Cerberus monster.
Yeah, and his shield gets weird new things. Like, it can turn a rope shield where it's just like a grappling hook, but a shield.
Yeah, he puts things in his shield, and then his shield takes on those qualities. So he does that with rope. And he gets a grappling hook. And he can just switch between these freely at any time.
Yeah.
He also gets like a I feel like projectile shield isn't the term I want, but he gets like a projected shield that he can send to protect other people, which he does at one point.
Yeah. I also noticed after they kill the monster, she gets more XP than he does.
Yeah. Which makes sense, because she is the one who actually killed it, whereas he is just sort of the party leader.
Yeah.
Because shared XP.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because when he was buying his slave, the guy first starts out by showing him off the best one, the most expensive.
Yeah, this is a level 75 werewolf man. It's 15 gold.
And then after, he's like, all right, now here are the crappy ones.
Yeah, here's the ones you can afford.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, the raccoon girl, she like 20 silver pieces, and she has like constant like night terrors, and is pretty useless, has a cough, probably will die soon.
This one's not good for physical labor or fighting, and she's also fucked in the head. And he's like, oh, take her.
Yeah, give me that one.
You got a deal. Turns out she just has PTSD from watching her parents get killed by a Cerberus. Because you know what? That's a little traumatic.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But they do kill the Cerberus thing. That's where he's like, fine, don't kill it, just run away. And she's like, I can't do that because then the show would be real short. The Rising of the Shield Hero. It's 2 episodes.
You know, those 2 really interesting episodes. An isekai where the protagonist dies in episode 2.
Yeah, I was taken aback. I didn't expect it.
No, but yeah, so now they agree that they're gonna work together and stuff. She's gonna be the sword, he's gonna be the shield.
I will protect you, but I need you to kill things if we're gonna survive.
And then they hug, and he's like, can we go now? And she's like, just a little bit longer. And he's like, okay. And then that's the end.
Because it is a very sweet and tender moment between these 2 characters who just, like, bathed in the blood of a Cerberus monster.
Yeah.
And got over some internal shit. But it's good. I like the show.
Yeah, I'm liking it so far. Again, can't wait for him to fuck over the bad people.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Something else that I look forward to every week, The Promised Neverland.
We plan in Home Alone style hijinks and escape.
Yeah, kids that live on a farm.
Yep, kids that live on a farm.
It's just about a bunch of kids who live a happy life on a farm.
Yeah, so anyway, Norman and Emma are kind of traumatized.
As children are wont to do when confronted with the dead body of another child.
Yeah. And I feel like Ray knows shit.
Ray super knows shit.
Ray shows up all the time, and he's watching always from the corners, and I'm like, he's got to know shit.
Ray's too smart. Ray's the tactician. He's always, slinking off in the shadows doing freaking Metal Gear Solid stealth missions.
Anyway, they're trying to plan their escape, and they know, okay, the gate's probably bad because that's where the demons are, and they run off to the edge of the forest, and they find a massive wall there.
Yep, turns out the fence was not the only thing keeping them inside. There is a big cement wall that's like several meters thick. And they decide, you know what? We can climb that. We'll tie a bunch of stuff together and
just
we'll
need some
climb over
rope.
it. All we need is some rope.
And as they're going back, they're kind of on edge, because of what they've seen, and now they know that the mom's like,
the mom suspects that someone saw.
And like Norman's telling her, "Hey, try to appear happy, or else she's gonna know."
Fucking smile, or we're all dead, Emma.
Yeah.
We're all dead.
And there's actually a decent scene where she's like looking at the wall where Connie's picture used to be. And she's really sad, and then you just instant cut.
Actually scared me.
Just instant cuts to Mama just like right next to her with her face, and her eyes have this like scary, just like dead stare. Like, what are you doing here?
Hey Emma, noticed you were feeling a little off today. Everything okay?
And she actually switches into like a perfect I'm a dumb kid mode.
Emma's a champ. Emma is a total baller.
But she almost gets kind of like passive aggressive with her, and that she's just like, yeah, I was just thinking about what Connie's doing right now.
This scene was so tense. Because I didn't realize until this actual scene happened, Mama's face is kind of scary. It's all just hard lines in her design, and she's got like these kind of squinty eyes. But holy shit, when she just suddenly appears and is like, hey Emma, what's going on? Are you feeling okay? I was like,
and it's just like, it's abrupt. She's like, boom, there.
She is there. No warning.
And then Ray comes and he kind of breaks the whole thing up. He's like, hey, it's dinner time.
Yeah. Hey guys, dinner's ready. And I was like, oh
It's almost like I knew to show up at this exact moment.
I came to break this tension. Almost. Raises eyebrows. And Norman he watches this.
And yeah, he's actually like hiding in the corner.
And he is terrified as well, because he's like, holy shit, did she know? But they're like, they think she doesn't know it's them.
Yeah, they know she knows it's somebody, but they gotta make sure she doesn't know it's them.
Emma does a good she rolled good on her deception roll.
Yeah.
And then later...
Yeah, they go back to the wall, and they're trying to plan their escape. And Ray shows up because Ray knows.
Of course Ray knows.
Ray knows everything that's going on.
He followed them, and they're discussing at this point, maybe we should tell Ray about this.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm already here.
He just literally shows up and is just like, yo.
Basically like, yeah, I'm pretty much I've already known that you guys have arrived at this conclusion already.
You know something is wrong. You know something I don't know.
Yeah.
This was after, though, I think. This was after tracking devices scene.
Oh, yeah. They basically figure out because they're all playing hide and seek, and two of the little kids, one of them just gets lost, and they're like, I can't find so-and-so. And the mom's like, don't worry, I'll go find her. And she looks at this pocket watch thing she has and immediately goes off and comes back with her. And then Norman and Emma are like, fuck.
Yeah, she opens it in front of everybody and makes sure that they see that she looks at it. And they look petrified at this because Norman's like, oh shit, Emma, that's not a watch. That's a tracking device. Oh no! Bah, bah, bah.
And they basically, after they meet up at the wall and Ray shows up, they are like, okay, Ray's like, I can come up with a plan, I can get the three of us out of here. And Emma's like, no.
We need to take everybody.
And he's like, you realize there's like 30 of us.
There are 37 children here, and the youngest of which are...
like six. He's like, there are 37 of us, and half of them are like 6. And she's like, yep, we're going to still do it. And then he starts getting kind of pissed because he's like...
No, that's impossible. Yeah. What you are asking of me is literally impossible, Emma.
And then Norman's like, yeah, we can do it. And then after she's like all excited, he's just like, wait, why are you saying that? He's like, because I like her.
Yeah, I like Emma, and I don't want Emma to be sad, so we're going to find a way to do it.
And then Ray basically is just like, fuck it, okay.
Yeah, Ray breaks down. I like this scene a lot. This was very interesting, because it showed 3 very unique, distinct characters all solving a problem together.
Yeah.
And solving that problem of a disagreement by essentially breaking each other down. Just like grinding down on Ray until eventually he's like, fuck it, I'm not gonna win this.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna obviously attempt it anyway, so whatever, I guess this is how we're doing it.
I literally can't argue with the fact that you like Emma. There is no arguing with that.
Yeah,
I lose. And that's where they're gonna go from there. Shit is gonna happen.
Shit is hitting the fan.
Oh, shit does hit the fan, because at one point...
Oh, yeah, at the end of the episode, when they go back after they're like, all right, we got a pretty good plan going on.
We see a scene where they're talking to Ray, and then it cuts back to the orphanage, well, quote-unquote orphanage, the farm, and Mama sees the tree that Ray sits under is empty, and she's like, oh? And she looks at the pocket watch that we know is a tracking device.
Yeah, and then at the end of the episode, they go back and Mama's like, "Hey, I'd like to introduce you guys to someone. This is Sister Crone, I think her name is."
Yeah, is a big black lady.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Yep, she's gonna be here to help." And they're like, "Shit."
Also,
adult.
We have a new arrival, Claire, a baby.
Gonna be harder to escape with a fucking baby now, someone who can't climb.
Now we have 2 adults and a baby. Congratulations.
It only got harder.
Your job only got harder. And now I'm like, holy shit, does she know it's them? I mean, I think she's gotta.
I mean, I feel like she has to in the sense where they're the 3 with the highest intelligence. And also, I think they realize, too, that apparently the smarter you are, the better your brain probably tastes.
Yeah, they figured out the weird scale that the monsters use for
Connie got
children.
shipped off early because she was, I guess, not the smartest and her test scores were the worst.
Yeah. So the better your test scores are, the later they ship you out. And I think
once you hit like 12, you're basically just shipped out.
Yeah, the cutoff is 12. And that is a disturbing thing.
Yeah.
It disturbs me. But I like this show a lot. It's great.
And you know what else I like? Kaguya-sama, Love is War.
I love this show because it just takes fucking everything to 11. Like, so... I love a war of tactics and love between 2 young people.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like was that I felt like they repeated a lot from the first episode. Like the intro sequence is kind of long, where they have to explain who both of them are, and I'm like, I know,
Yeah,
you told me.
I actually had to check because
Yeah,
I was like,
am
I watching the first one again?
Yeah, because that goes on for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of a long time. But, like, the show is 3 separate, shorter stories.
Yeah.
Or, I guess, little mini arcs, little mini plots.
Yeah, it's like a comedy manga, so I think it's all quick bits.
Yeah, so I think that's probably why they do that.
Yeah, the first one is the president, he gets a phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, smartphone for the first time.
He buys a smartphone because, once again, Vice President decides, I need to get him to do something, so I am going to set this up in a very elaborate way to pressure him into doing it.
Yeah.
And it's all so that he can get the Link app, which I guess is a messaging app.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, so he can get Messenger and have to ask her for her information.
Yes.
And as they're doing it, he's aware. He's like, I can't just ask her because that means I want to talk to her.
And that means that I might as well be admitting that I love her. I can't do that.
So his way of going around that is his trump card is he gets he gets the Treasury girl to because she just straight up asks like, oh hey, give me your information, I'll add you. And then she's like, oh, what's your user photo? And he's like, oh, that's a picture of me when I was a kid.
It's an embarrassing picture of me as a child, and it like
triggers her immediately. She's like, and he's like, yeah,
I need to see this.
I'll probably change it in like 3 minutes though.
Oh yeah, because he's like, I need to give her some kind of ticking clock. I'll change. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing to have as my profile picture. I'll change it in 3 minutes. A hyper-specific window.
And then she starts, like, freaking out, and then she realizes she has a trump card where she pulls out these fake tears.
She also rolls a nat 20 on her deception roll.
And she just basically makes it sound like he's being an asshole and choosing to exclude her.
It's like the way she does this is so roundabout and amazing because she doesn't say directly that he's being an asshole because he's not showing her the picture.
Yeah,
she's just like, you're so mean, you're terrible.
And then he's like, shit, what did I do? He's like, yeah, fine, here. And then he shows it to her, and then he realizes, oh, man, she was just playing, but I guess she has a photographic memory, so it's too late.
In that one instant, her mind absorbed the picture fully. And it's like him with a snake wrapped around him. And he's like, shit, I just lost my trump card. What do I do now?
And then the whole thing ends when she pulls out her phone, and it turns out it's a really old-ass flip phone.
Yeah, it doesn't even have the app on it.
And then she didn't apparently even know that.
Yep, which blows my mind.
And they're all just, and then he starts freaking out at her, and he's just like, "You're rich. Why don't you have a new phone?
Why get a better phone?" And she's like, "I've had this one forever. It has sentimental meaning to me." And then they end up just exchanging their addresses, and that's it. It is a draw. This one is a both sides lose.
And in the next one, they are trying to decide what they should do for summer break as the student council.
President wants to go to the mountains because he likes hiking, and he thinks that a starry night will it'll elicit it'll cast that's what it is. It'll cast a spell on her so that she will admit her feelings to him.
And she wants to go to the beach because she thinks she can use a swimsuit in order to woo him. But he really doesn't want to go to the beach because turns out he can't swim.
Yeah, we have something in common. He can't swim either. And he's like, I can't go to the beach. I'll be embarrassed because I'll have to use a floaty. And she'll be like, that floaty is cute. And I love how they keep reusing that. It's amazing.
Like that's his worst case scenario, apparently.
Exactly. That is an equivalent to a loss. The other person saying something about them is cute.
And because of the vice president girl, she ends up being like, yeah, I guess I'll have to buy another swimsuit. Or not the vice president, the secretary. And then, yeah, I'll have to buy another swimsuit. And then she realizes a huge flaw in her plan that this girl is more stacked.
The secretary is built... Oh, she's tank class.
Yeah, that's how they phrase it.
And she's like, both of them swap.
Yeah, because she ends up saying, like, oh, the mountains probably has bugs and stuff. And I guess he hates bugs.
He really hates bugs.
So they swap. And then she's like, no, we should go to the mountains. And he's like, no, not the mountains, the beach. The beach is where you got to go.
We got to go to the beach. The mountains are terrible. And then they decide, secretary, break this tie. And she's like,
okay, I want to go to the mountains, and they're like, okay, but this one specific mountain that's haunted, and there's like, we can do some demon summoning ritual, and they're all like...
There's like a lake of blood or something, they call it.
And they're both like, it immediately kills their entire mood on it, and they're just like, maybe we can just, kind of decide when summer comes, we can figure it out later.
We'll put a pin in this, and as summer gets closer, we'll figure this out later. No one wins. Draw, again.
And in the last one of the students goes to him, goes to the president for love advice.
Because he's an unstoppable love veteran.
And he realizes, wait, why do people think this about me?
Yeah.
And he's like, but now I already said yes, and I can't, what if this makes me look stupid, though, and outs me?
I can't have him telling other people I'm a virgin. I'll have to go with what feels right.
And so she's eavesdropping the whole time on their conversation. And it's real clear that the girl this guy's talking about does not like him.
Yes.
It's like, yep, well, she gave me Valentine's chocolates, which apparently, he only 3, chocolate rice balls or something.
She gave me 3 Choco Balls.
Which apparently is, the bare minimum of, obligatory, I know you, so here.
You're in my class, so I have to give it to you. So here.
And then Shinomiya is outside and she's listening in and she's like, oh yeah, that's the bare minimum. She probably doesn't even think about him at all. And then he's like, the president guy goes,
yeah, she loves you.
Yeah, it's clear she's giving you a mixed sign. She's giving you the bare minimum, but that means that she's actually hiding her true feelings.
I love this episode because they reused the shot of the president standing up and pointing at the kid 3 times.
And then the next thing he mentions is that, the other day she's like, do you have a girlfriend? And he's just like, no. And then she's like, yeah, I didn't think you would. You didn't look like you would. And she tells all of her friends and they laugh. And he's like, no. They're you're in the perfect position right now. They're all into you.
Yeah, they all adore you. They're laughing because they know that they all have a chance now.
And she's outside the door listening. She's like, oh my, she's like, they're delusional.
They're both, oh yeah, because the kid is like, wow, how am I going to pick just one?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my god, both of these men are stupid.
And he's just like, it will be hard because you might cause bullying and rifts in their friend group. But she'll have you.
That's how female friendships work.
And then she's like, all right, this conversation's getting a little arrogant.
This is arrogant and stupid. Congratulations.
But then he's like, I'll show you my secret technique. And then he goes over to the door that she's on the other side of. Pretend she's standing right here. And he slams his hand against the door. And he's like, and then you gotta whisper,
go out with me.
And she's on the other side of the door, and this actually hits her because she's like,
oh, she's experienced it. She has experienced the golden glory that is having the president man ask her out.
And then after he could tell, he's like, yeah, I came up with this technique.
I call it the wall down technique. And she's like, no, actually that's the wall slam technique, and that's been around forever.
And then after he's like, oh yeah, he's like, why'd you ask me about this anyway? He's like, yeah, because you're the guy who conquered Shinomiya.
And he's like, gah. Both of them are like, gah. What?
And then he's like explaining it to him. He's like, no, I'm not actually dating the vice president. And he's like, oh, but you guys seem so great together. And he's like, what do you think about her? And he's like, what do I think about her? Well, she's really rich and kind of spoiled.
I find her wealth and talents bother me a lot.
And then immediately he switches his tune. He's just like, but I think all those are great qualities. In fact, she's the ideal woman.
Because he notices the bun on her hair peeking out from between the crack in the door. So he's like, holy shit, that almost got real bad real fast.
Yeah, got to backpedal on this.
I need to backpedal super hard. But all those things are actually great.
Yeah.
It is top tier.
And that's the end of the episode.
The dude does it, and it works.
Yeah, apparently he does the wall slam, and it's like even the narrator's like, apparently it worked.
Somehow it worked, and apparently they're together now. It is great. I love narrator characters. They're just so good.
Every time I hear the narrator, I'm kind of weirded out because I'm pretty sure that's Z from Double Decker.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
And that's like, I mean,
I'm just picturing this bald black dude.
he's just sitting there narrating the story.
Actually, he was like just. I don't think he was a black dude. Actually,
no. Victor Zabel was just like an old bald man.
Yeah. Old bald man.
He was black after he got pretty crispy.
Yeah, because that happened to him. But he still survived throughout the entire thing.
Yep, and now he narrates for this show.
And you know who no one narrates for? Boogie Pop.
Boogie Pop. Because the storytelling technique in this show is bizarre.
I don't
and
like
doesn't
this
make a lot
one.
of sense.
I just don't like it.
I am invested in this show because I watched the first one.
I didn't watch the first one, and I'm just kind of bored in this one.
It feels like they ripped off a ton of stuff from the first one because, like, even the character we meet in this episode, he can see...
I can see buds. I can see rosebuds inside children and people.
He can see people's roses, and that means he knows what they're missing in life.
And we get introduced to this character, Imaginator, who just seems like...
That is the Manticore.
Yeah, she seems like her entire existence is just to stir trouble.
Because she's the Manticore. Because in the first series, the Manticore does the same thing, basically. It is killed by Boogie Pop, and then it enters the body of a guy who witnessed it, and then just kind of chills in there for a little bit. And the character we meet is also a ripoff of another character from the old series, where he is...
I don't know if you can call it a ripoff if they're adapting the same material, though.
I don't know. Is it? I thought this one was like...
They're all based off of the novels.
Yeah, but I thought this series was after the first one.
I think they're doing a full 1-to-1 adaptation of the novels with this one, whereas the other one takes place in between or after or something.
If they're doing a 1-to-1, then it makes sense.
Because this is supposed to, I think, be like from the books. This is from the start of the books to wherever they go.
That makes more sense, because, like, there's a lot of stuff.
And I don't like it. It didn't make me want to read the books.
If
I want to watch it. I don't want to watch Boogie Pop.
If the books are told in a similar fashion to the show,
I don't want to do it.
The books would be just impossible to read. Because this show, like, tells its own story in smaller stories that are not necessarily chronologically connected, and it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I was bored with this villain guy who's got the rosebud power. I didn't care. This whole episode, I was sitting there going, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to watch this.
That was the same issue with the first run. Is there's just like a long period where it just cuts to like all these little stories, and it's like, why do I give a shit about any of these people?
And I know this is technically episode 4 of this show.
Yeah.
And I only liked episode 2. I didn't like episode 1, and episode 3 I was really disappointed with how it ended.
Yeah.
So I don't like it.
Could be better. I think this will be the first one on the chopping block.
Yeah, I'm fine with not watching this every week.
So Boogie Pop, we're gonna send you to the guidance counselor's office.
Where you get killed by the guidance counselor because he's the bad guy in this.
Yeah, but like you clearly need some help. Like you're just spouting weird stuff that doesn't make sense. You're the crazy kid in class.
It's stupid and I don't like it.
Bye.
You know what I super had fun with this week?
Is it a show about a man who he tutors? See, the premise is we got this man, but he's poor. He's a poor man, and he's got these quintuplets. These
they're quintessential. The quintessential quintuplets, and I gotta say,
he tutors them.
I might have been presumptuous in my Twitter post where I said I think the green ribbon is my favorite. I think Miku might be my favorite.
I knew Miku was my favorite. She is the soft-spoken one who wears headphones and tights.
She is a big... apparently, so the whole episode, he has them all take a test to see how much... If they pass, or at least get a 50, he'll leave them alone.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, all of them... he's like, wow, you guys got 100 combined.
Yep. Turns out... they're all in trouble of failing.
Yeah, but then he realizes he asked them all a question, and one of them actually got it right. And
she just didn't want to say to look like a big nerd in front of her sisters.
But turns out she's actually a huge fan of, Japanese warlords.
Yeah, she loves Japanese warlords.
And so I'm assuming each one of them's going to have a subject that they're specifically good at. Hers is history.
Probably.
So he ends up trying to, foster that, being like, hey, maybe I can get her on board with this whole thing. And
it becomes a duel of wits. How much do you know about
Yeah.
Sengoku period Japanese warlords?
And he gets he doesn't know the answer to one of her questions, and she's like, see, I knew it. I can't learn anything from you.
You don't know anything.
And he's pissed and goes to the library and gets every single book he can on the Sengoku period.
He goes ballistic.
And he learns everything.
He literally reads every book and studies everything just so he can face off against her and beat her.
And he chases her around. And basically, they run around the school shouting trivia at each other.
Yeah, at full speed until eventually they just
they at mediocre speed, because apparently she's the slowest out of their group, and he's not in the best condition, so they're just
he's the study kid, not the athlete.
So they're just really slow running through the place, just what was the role of Oda Nobunaga?
It is pretty good. I like this scene. And this episode only made me like Miku more.
Yeah, well, she's the only one that's actually had a full thing, but yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah, she ends up deciding, hey, because she picks up all the books at the end of, the period, and she can see the library cards all have him just taking them out. At the
bottom.
And she realizes, oh, he's actually really serious about this. I guess I'll actually study now.
3 more to go. Good luck, my dude.
Yotsuba, the green-haired ribbon one, the, I guess, dumbest out of the group, she was always down.
Yeah.
So now he has her and Miku that are actually going to study.
And at one point in the episode, he comes to an interesting realization. Turns out each of them got different answers right, so that none of them overlapped.
Yeah, so they all have their own subject that they're good at.
And he's like, if one of you can do it, the rest of you can do it. So that's his strategy, I guess?
Yeah.
You're a quintuplet, so you can all do this.
I'm assuming he's going to get them each really good at their own thing so then they can teach each other.
Or he is going to have them trade... Well, no, that probably wouldn't work. Never mind. I was gonna suggest some Freaky Friday swapping.
I liked one part where he was chasing her, and she put a ribbon in her hair and immediately pretended to be her sister.
Yeah, she pretended to be Yotsuba, and then he runs into Yotsuba, and he's like, "Yotsuba, your doppelganger's over there."
And she's like, and she even, because again, she's the dumbest one. She's like, "Whoa, oh my god, it is my doppelganger." Oh, but
hold on.
He's like, her hair's a lot longer than yours,
and it's a different color. And you're wearing different clothes. And you're putting headphones around your neck.
And then she just immediately runs off again.
Yep. It's pretty good.
But yeah, I like this show. I think it's fun. It's a harem anime, so you know what you're getting, but it's a fun one.
It's a fun harem anime. As long as you go in knowing what to expect, you're going to have a good time.
Now, another show about girls that it's not as lighthearted, not as fun.
No.
We got some serious drama going on.
Drama.
Domestic Girlfriend.
A man who fucks a girl who turns out to be the sister of the teacher he has a crush on, and now they're both his sister because his dad marries their mom.
And yeah, So the previous episode ended with him about to kiss his teacher as the younger sister walked in. And she doesn't say anything about it this time. She just walks in, kicks her older sister off the couch, and she's like, "Hina, come on, we're going." and just drags her.
And drags her unconscious, passed out body into her bedroom.
And he's like, shouldn't you be more, gentle? And she's like, nah, it's always like this.
Yeah, this is what I do every time.
And,
I like that scene. That was funny.
And she transfers to his school.
Oh boy, the problems just keep on keeping on.
And he kind of mentions like, hey, have you told anyone we're related? And she's like, no.
I don't have friends.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, maybe we just shouldn't. He's like, okay, so you're basically just telling me not to talk to you at school. Fine, I get it, whatever.
And he's like, well, when you put it that way, it makes me sound like a big piece of shit.
Yeah.
And you know what? It kind of does sound like a big piece of shit.
And then he notices she doesn't have any friends, so then he goes over and he tries to help her make friends, and he realizes she's not a bad person, it's just she's super blunt, and everything she says makes her sound like she's, like, mean and standoffish.
She's an awkward person who doesn't know how to properly converse with other people.
But they have a conversation that makes everyone else laugh as he's trying to help her, and then they're like...
Basically, they reenact with her being the worst hostess at a hostess club and him being a dissatisfied customer, and she calls over security. And they literally play this out in their classroom, and everyone's like, yeah, good skit, guys. That makes us instantly want to be your friends again. And
then he was like, okay, I guess my work here's done.
I did it, guys. I did the mission.
And then he goes back, after they're back home, the parents go out, and the older sister is like, yeah, I'm going to watch over them. And they cook dinner together. And turns out, he's like, oh, man, he's like, Sensei's cooking. And he's like, oh, it's so amazing. And he's like, actually, Rui did that.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, what did you do? And she did all the stuff that's just basically cut vegetables.
Boil edamame.
And, like, tofu.
Yeah, and tofu. The easiest thing.
And then, as they're hanging out and stuff, he goes to ask her about her boyfriend, and then... Quickly after, the phone rings, and it actually probably is her boyfriend. She goes outside and, sounds like she's fighting with somebody.
And then she comes back in, and he's like, hold on, now I know something is wrong. We gotta talk about this. And then the doorbell begins to ring. Repeatedly.
And she's like, you don't have to get that.
Who is it?
And then the younger sister, Rui, comes out, and she's like, what are you guys doing? The door's ringing.
Yeah. Isn't someone going to answer the door?
Don't open that. And then they open it, and it's just the parents.
Yeah. They're both kind of sloshed, and then they come in, and they're like, why'd you guys wait so long to open the door?
Yeah. And so now we know something's up with the teacher's boyfriend, who that will probably get resolved into, he's like, I will replace him.
Yeah.
At some point.
Actually, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
That's how this show has to work.
Yeah, but I still like it.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
I like all the characters.
I like the drama.
The drama.
I did like the scene where at the beginning where he was late to school, and she's like, oh, yeah. Rui was supposed to wake you up. And all she did was go up to the door, hey, it's time to go. Very quietly, not even just get up for school.
All she does is call once. Hey, wake up. And then that's it.
And then she just left.
And he has bedhead that day, and turns out literally everybody he comes across has to point it out and tease him about it until Rui fixes it eventually.
Yeah.
Because apparently people get real butthurt. Like, hey man, your hair's kind of fucked up today.
Oh, and they have a conversation in the bathroom.
Yes, she is taking a bath.
Yeah, Rui's taking a bath, and she's like, hey, you want to come in here? Because I have something I got to talk to you about. And he's like... she's like, it's fine, you already seen it.
And he's like, that is not incorrect, but still not okay.
And she basically is like, hey, why'd you try to kiss my sister the other night? Are you just an asshole?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. What's your deal? And he was like,
and they don't really get to don't really get to explain it, because then she's like, are you trying to cheer her up because there were problems with her boyfriend? He's like, wait, what's going on with her boyfriend? She's like, never mind, forget I said anything, and just leaves.
Evasion. Yay.
A lot of people not talking about stuff in this show.
Seems to be a common trend in anything with any relationships ever. It's just a lot of people not talking to each other about a lot of things.
They ain't saying shit.
But you know who does say shit? It's not a great segue, but it's the one I got.
It's not a great segue. Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka.
This show is dumb, and it knows it's dumb, and I love it.
It is fun dumb.
It is fun dumb.
I love the scene where she goes back into her apartment, and then like all Nick Fury like the guy pretending to be her dad's there, but he's actually like the military commander.
The JSDF dude
Yeah.
is just sitting on her couch in the dark, waiting for her.
And the conversation is just essentially like, "Hey, you sure you don't want to come join my special task force?"
No, I don't want to join your special task force. I'm done with that life. I'm done killing people.
My middle school days are over.
And then he's like, the reason I came here is because we've got a Halloween class. What are they called?
Yeah.
The monsters. They got some goofy name.
Yeah, I forgot what their name is, but basically, the evil magic girls, which appear to be the main bad guys.
Yeah, we do learn this episode that they are in fact evil magical girls.
Yeah, they're giving the terrorists that are pissed off because their leader got taken out by Asuka in the previous episode.
Who apparently is being tortured by track friend's dad.
Yeah, by her school friend's dad, works for the police, and he's basically torturing that guy for information.
Yeah.
And he's torturing him pretty hard because he knows, like, hey, Mike's daughter's best friend almost got killed by this guy.
And he's talking about it so casually with his coworker, and it's like kind of weird, but I also really kind of love it because it's just what this dude does every day.
That's his day job. He's like, I just tell her I do boring desk work.
Yeah, I tell her I do boring desk job stuff, but then I tell her that boring desk job stuff allows the men in the Metropolitan Police to really do their jobs.
And the girl who the other friend, book friend, got PTSD from almost being, massacred.
Yeah, and that pissed him off. But anyway, we learned that there is a Halloween class monster that was just let loose in the city.
Yeah, because the evil magic girls gave it to the terrorists who wanted revenge for their leader getting captured, and essentially they let it loose and it just starts murdering people. And
as it is wont to
do. Kuma!
Yeah!
Kuma! Yeah, you find it and it's like just juggling a lady's head.
In a body filled with tattered corpses of people.
Yeah, and so the Nick Fury dude basically tells Asuka, he's like, yeah, you sure you don't want to fight? And she's like, no, I told you I'm out. He's like, all right, well, we're sending War Nurse after it. And she's
we're sending the support magical girl to 1v1.
And she's like, she can't do that. She's meant to, be support and have someone fight in front of her. And he's like, well, she's the only one we got in the Japanese borders.
Oh, that was a good line. That was a good dig.
And then she's like, shit. And then it shows War Nurse fighting by herself, and she's doing okay at first, but then she starts getting wrecked. And
she injects it with like this crazy War Nurse venom that causes its skin to melt.
Yeah, it starts to melt, but it's not enough, and it's about to kill her. And then Asuka shows up, and her theme song starts blaring.
Yeah, of course it does.
And she takes it the fuck out.
Yeah, super hard. She shreds that thing.
And it turns out they were Asuka specifically and this girl were friends back in middle school, and she actually made I forget her name. War Nurse's actual name, Kumi, or I forget. I'll learn it next week.
Yeah.
She basically was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be a magic girl. You should be a magic girl too." And she's like, "I don't know, I'm scared." And she's like, "Don't worry, I'll stay by your side and fight with you.
I will always protect you." And she's like, "Well, okay, then I'll be the support class."
And then turns out, and then after she saves her and stuff, they're both kind of hanging out in the park together, and she's like, hey, that was kind of a dick move, basically making me become a magic girl and then abandoning me as soon as like the war was over.
Yeah, that wasn't a cool thing to do. And she's like, yeah, you're right, it wasn't. Cut to the next day at school.
Yeah. While they're on the swings too, she's like, okay, you just have to make up for it by actually keeping your promise now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And now she goes to the same school as her.
Yep. Next day, we learn there's a transfer student. Turns out it's War Nurse. Because of course she is.
I really like this show. I love how it's like, it feels like an action movie, like where it's like a grizzled old veteran being pulled back into it, like, I told you I'm out.
But it's a high school girl, and it's ridiculous. This show gives me the feeling that they're like, we know what kind of show this is, so we're not going to hide it. We're just going to roll with it.
It's goofy and edgy.
I love it. It is exactly up my alley.
It's good shit.
This show is stupid and beautiful all at the same time.
And you know what was surprisingly better than expected?
Girly Air Force.
Yeah, so we get to learn about Gripan today.
Yep. A man goes on a date with a plane.
Yeah, that is the episode.
A plane with narcolepsy.
Yeah. Also, I really like the guy who
The scientist?
Yeah, I like the scientist guy because he basically sends her to go to his house, and she's like, well, the first part of the episode, she just shows him around base.
Yeah.
And all the other soldiers seem to like look at her with disdain. They're like, ugh.
Yeah, people look down on her for being, I guess,
plane.
a super cool robot plane avatar.
Yeah. And then after the next day, instead, she goes to his house, and she's like, yeah,
he told me to tell you that you can do whatever you want.
And that I shouldn't resist.
At all. And this is in the middle of a crowded street, so
Yeah.
people are starting to look like, what the fuck?
And that you're young and you just might have to give in to your urges.
And
he's like, why would he say it like that?
What? Phrasing. And he pulls her inside, and he's like...
Phrasing.
Is phrasing still a thing?
Phrasing.
He pulls her inside, and he's like, well, what's training today? And she's like, I don't know. He just said to do whatever you wanted to do.
And they basically just kind of go on a date where they just go around to places.
And they eat food because she really likes food.
Yeah, because she was like, oh, I want to get like the B special the C special. And he's like, no.
There aren't those out here. And she is clearly devastated.
And he's just like, we have better food than like military grade lunches.
Those MREs... those are shit compared to what we got out here.
Then they go to the beach at the end of the day, and she passes out.
And he's like, holy shit, what the fuck?
And then all of a sudden the military shows up, because of course they were watching them the whole time.
Yeah, that would be really irresponsible to send a weapon out into the world and not watch it.
Let's spend our, like, $1 billion, like, humanoid plane just out.
She'll be...
with a teenager.
She's never been outside the base before.
Yeah.
She'll be fine.
With a teenager who isn't even from this country.
Yeah.
But, we learn more about his mom, and that he actually used to fly with her, but she was killed by the Z, which is why he hates the Z.
Yeah, because the Z really hate planes, I guess. They're like, man, those planes, we gotta take them all down. No one can fly but us.
They look like they just shoot at everyone and everything.
Yeah. Their motives are sketchy at best, but I don't think that's the focus, so it's fine. We also learn from the director dude that because he's basically like, yeah, she is essentially defective because every 3 hours she randomly passes out. So
and also
they want to scrap her.
So you basically consider this like, hey, you got to find a way to fix her real fast, or else she's getting scrapped. That's just the reality of it.
Or else ripperoni, because our investors don't like having defective weaponry.
But how the fact that she stayed awake 7 hours with him was actually...
I think it was 10.
Oh yeah, it was like 10 hours with him was like, hey, this is a huge sign of progress.
Yeah, I'd say like
Listen, kid, we need you to fuck this plane.
We need you to fuck the plane awake. Okay.
But yeah, it's good. It's fine. I like it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed a man dating
a
bland plane more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
The plane is not as bland as once thought.
It was better than expected.
Yeah.
I dare even say the plane is cute.
Kawaii plane?
Kawaii plane.
You know what else was better than expected?
The price
of fucking smiles.
Turns out the price of smiles is a lot, or unless you're
a sociopath.
Yeah, unless you're fucking crazy and just smile at fucking anything. Just like, oh, look at all this tragedy.
This episode was called The Soldier of Smiles, and she's more like the Joker than anything. She is a militarized Joker.
Well, she's not that, no, because I think the Joker, like, just laughing while you're shooting people, whereas more for her, it's just, she's got, like, this almost, like, weird, just 1,000-yard stare smile.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. She is creepy.
Even, like, her commander's, like, in his mind, like, this fucking creepy.
She's just sitting there smiling. What the fuck?
So, in this episode, we just learn about the Empire.
Yep, it is Empire-focused. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of the structure of the show.
Yeah, and so far, I like the Empire more.
Yeah.
They actually feel like, they do tactics. They do, like, they're actually fighting a war instead of...
They're not just like, we'll let the knights handle it.
Yeah, we are the knights, and we do chivalry, and we get in the robots and fight.
These dudes are Metal Gear. Basically, their mission is Metal Gear.
Yeah. The squad doesn't really trust their commander too much yet because he's their new commander, and they heard he was, demoted to their squad because I guess they're the misfit squad, basically, because he refused orders once. I could totally see that happening with this guy because turns out he's kind of a softie for, like, civilians and people.
Turns out this one man doesn't like when militaries kill civilians.
Yeah, he's not a big fan of that.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
And they have to go on a stealth mission into this nearby town.
Yes.
In order to basically locate the food supply.
Essentially, the military hears a rumor that's like, hey, we've heard that there's a large food stockpile here, but we don't want to, we can't spare the manpower to just go and raid it. So we're going to send you guys to go get more intel and fuck everything up.
Yeah, not in their mechs or anything, just a covert stealth team.
Yeah, we saw dudes shooting people.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, oh, you shot me and I am in a position where I am down, like, oh man, I'm shot. No, they just straight up, dome people.
Yeah, they murder people super hard.
Yeah, so they pose as civilians at first, and it's just him and Stella, the girl with the 1,000-yard stare and the smile.
The creepy smile girl.
Yeah.
And they
kind of come across these orphans, and he takes a liking to them because, he's got that, he's
a softie.
He's a big softie. And after he kind of helps them out a little bit, he learns about this place, this facility where the food's actually kept at.
Yes, and there's a large presence of the Order in there, and he's like, oh?
Yeah.
They would not just put a whole bunch of Order soldiers there for no reason.
And he does a little recon, and he figures out, hey, they got a new, I think they're called, Chars or whatever.
Yeah, they
got new tech.
I hate the name of the energy source in this world because it's Krars.
It's C-H-R-A-R-S. Chars.
I fucking hate it. I hate it so much. But basically, the kingdom...
The Contrivium tech.
Yeah. The kingdom has developed a new form of it, which is a lot better than the old form.
Because the kingdom is better at technology, but the Empire is better at stealing it.
Yeah, the Empire is just better. Yeah, they're better at stealing it. There's no two ways around it.
Actually, the Empire already seems better because they lost that last battle in the previous episode because the Empire had ramps. It's like, they're just gonna fly off the ramps. How do we fight them now?
That's very true.
The kingdom couldn't hold a choke point. Those are the easiest things to hold.
Yeah, that's true.
You literally have a funnel that the enemy has to go through.
And you just couldn't.
Also, they have fucking battleships, basically.
They have huge battleships.
And they didn't do shit.
They didn't do jack shit.
Anyway, so they do the recon mission at night where they're basically given the order to, hey, you guys either got to steal this thing or destroy it, and you have 3 hours to do it, or else we're just going to long-range bomb it.
Yeah, we're moving artillery into position, so we'll just bombard the city into a flatland if you don't do this.
All right, there might be some civilian casualties, though, and they're just like, that's a necessary evil.
Yeah, that's fine.
And as they're going on the mission, he splits off from the rest of them, and he's like, hey, Stella, you're in charge. And then she's like, okay. And he's like, and they're all like, wait, where are you going? And he's like, I got another thing to do.
I gotta go to the dentist. And he leaves.
And he basically goes and saves all the kids, because of course he would.
Yeah, because he doesn't want children to die.
And the rest of them go full Metal Gear, where they're just taking people the fuck out, hacking computers.
It is badass.
Like, full on, just like, all right, on, like, two dudes walking, and, like, she looks at the other guy, and she's like, all right, on three. 1, 2, 3, and just both guys just dead. And then after the two other dudes show up in their mechs to kind of pick up the thing and leave with it.
Because they're stealing the Krars.
And then the other robots show up and they have a little mech fight, but they get out with it.
Yeah, they make the Order guys look like absolute chumps.
Oh yeah, one of them is like attacking like the smallest girl, and he gets flipped over and she just shoots him right in the head.
Yep.
I'm like, I know there was a scene where she was lifting weights before, but come on, dude.
That dude got wrecked. He had the super advantage. He could have just killed her as soon as she walked around the corner.
Yeah.
And also, the mechs are not good at fighting.
Yeah, the order fucking sucks. I think those mechs were automated, though, because they were just, like, they were sitting there in a, like, down position the entire time, then only got up when the thing moved. So they might have been unmanned.
We'll go with that, because basically the only hit that the order mechs get in is on the one that had its hands full and couldn't fight back.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
And then as they get out there, like, at first all the children don't really want to trust them because they're like, hey, our parents were killed by the Empire, so we're mad at you people. And then Stella...
Understandably.
Yeah, and then Stella pulls out her gun. She's like, I start shooting kids until you get in that truck.
Everyone get in the fucking truck or I'll start killing you kids one by one. And they're like, I see your point. It's very fair. Let's get in the truck.
And they all get in the truck, and then after everyone kind of, like... choose out the commander where it's like, hey, what if your little renegade mission got, kind of caused us to fail the mission? And he's like, well, that's why I trust my subordinates. And they're like, this
I'm
guy.
I'm still mad at you with my pink afro.
And turns out the kids are not grateful.
No, because they're still mad that they are involved with the military that killed their parents.
Yeah, and so Stella goes and talks to one of the ones she was talking to, and she's like, hey, it's okay. And she's like, give me back my mom, my dad, my home.
Yeah. Give me back my parents and everything you took from me. And Stella's like, well, that didn't feel great.
Yeah, and so then they leave, and then after he goes to, like, they bring back the stolen tech, and the commander looks happy, and the rest of them are all kind of mad at their commander because, he went AWOL for a little bit.
Yeah, that was some dumb shit he pulled.
And then he goes to see Stella, and he's like, thinking like, oh, she must be upset about what happened, and nope. She's just sitting there smiling with that deadpan face, or like that 1,000-yard stare where she's like, I wonder what our next mission's going to be.
Yeah.
And he's like,
hey,
this girl's broken in his mind.
That was pretty intense back there, what you did. And are you sure you're good for the next mission? And she's like, oh, you mean the night missions? I'm fine with those. I wonder what our next one's going to be.
Yeah, and he's just like, this girl is broken.
Holy shit. They actually gave me a squad with a broken person in it. Because she is at one point talking to the little girl, who's like, hey, give me back my parents. Give me the money. And she has that creepy 1,000-yard stare and that smile while that girl is telling her the story about how her parents were killed in an assault on a city. And then the girl gives her a piece of candy.
There's a part, too, where they're driving around. There's a bunch of, like, advertisement for, like, the princess of the kingdom, like Yuki and stuff. And he's like, hey, that princess, would you kill her if you had to? And she's like, yeah, if I was ordered to, definitely.
Yeah, she's fine
again with that fucking creepy smile.
It's weird. This girl, like,
I feel like, this almost makes the name The Price of Smiles, like, kind of.
This whole show man, like, it's called The Price of Smiles, and you go into it with some expectations, and then you watch it, and the show is like, fuck your expectations.
Yeah, everyone really only smiles in kind of fucked up moments, too. Like Joshua, when he died, he's just there peacefully smiling.
Yeah.
And then this chick.
Stella, anytime.
Yeah. I feel like Commander Dude's gonna get fucked by this show.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's gonna at one point think like, hey, I can help these people, like, kind of see, hey, war's kind of shitty. And then by him trying to help, he's actually probably just going to get killed by his own, like, unit, where she's going to be like...
I feel like it's going to be Stella.
Yeah, she's going to shoot him, and she's just going to be like, nah, the mission's more important. I don't care what you're trying to teach me about, like, people and feelings.
Sorry, orders are more important than your feelings. Goodbye.
And he's just like, but, you don't think killing children's bad? And she's like, no, it's what they told us.
Only if I'm ordered to.
And, yeah... that guy's going to get fucked over at some point. He's too good with a group of people that are not.
Yeah. I like that show a lot more than I thought I would, because holy shit.
Yeah.
It is definitely not what I expected.
It is good.
I would say this week was also good.
I would say I like everything on this list but Boogie Pop, which is why... Goodbye, Boogie Pop.
We dropped one thing, and the rest of it is actually, like... pretty good.
Because in everything else's defense, everything else is on episode 2 right now. Boogie Pop's on 4, and I still don't like it.
Yeah. So there's still time for other things to spoil. Don't worry.
Yeah. We're going to see how long the man fucks plane gimmick can work.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I hope there are cool dog fights.
Or we're going to see if the Rising of the Shield Hero will eventually fall into all the tropes of its genre.
I kind of hope it takes those tropes and just kind of does something a little different with them. Because we already have, like, the isekai hero who has been beaten down and jaded to the point where he's like, fuck everything. I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So hopefully that makes it last longer or
I feel
makes
like
it
we
more
got a lot
interesting.
of dumb fun shows this season.
Yeah.
Like the quintessential quintuplets, Magic Girl Spec Ops, and Girly Air Force. Those aren't like, that's not highbrow entertainment, but,
That's not...
it's fun.
That's what we mean. Those shows are what we mean when we say anime is garbage, but we love it.
Yeah.
Because those shows are not quality programs.
No.
But they're fun to watch.
Yeah. And I am excited to see where all of those go next week, because I am going to just be watching these shows until I die.
Yeah.
Just these ones.
I
don't plan on making it out of winter 2019.
You're only going to have one more season, and then I'm going to have to carry the podcast by myself.
All right, we're doing spring 2019. It's just me this season.
Oh my god, all these shows are bad. I have no one to riff on these with.
Yeah, also, I think we got Babylon coming in spring.
Oh, so
or
not
Babylonia.
Not all the shows will be bad.
I don't know. It's the adapted story arc of a phone game into like a 13-episode series.
Yeah, but the story of that phone game is surprisingly quality.
Yeah, but that's a long time to stretch that out for. Actually, I feel like if they add new content to it, I feel like it would be really good.
Follow some other side stories we didn't get to see.
Instead of the padding ones where it's like, more enemies incoming.
Yeah. There's more monsters. Fight more monsters now. That doesn't provide good story.
Yeah.
Plus, if it's animated in similar fashion to Fate Apocrypha, that would be dope as hell. That show looked really good.
It is not being done by A1, I don't think.
Damn.
Although A1, I don't even think Apocrypha looked that good.
I think a lot of the action sequences were done very well.
Like, there was one episode that was done, near the end that's like, all the budget's going here for this fight, and then the rest of it was kind of whatever.
I don't know. I liked Siegfried and Karna fighting.
Yeah, but that's the episode I'm talking about.
That's like in the beginning.
No, I'm talking about near the end.
Oh, Fight 2.
Yeah, Fight 2.
I liked Fight 1 as well. And also there's Achilles versus Charon.
I don't know. I didn't like the fights in
Chiron.
Apocrypha where if you take them and compare them to Zero, it's like, I don't know, they're just way too
That's true.
We're moving at 1,000,000 miles per second, flying around. It's like we're doing Dragon Ball level fighting.
I was about to say
where
that
everything,
actually.
every swing destroys a mountain.
Yeah, that's true.
It's overly ridiculous.
That's very true. That is a good point.
But we are not talking about Fate shows on this podcast because none are airing right now.
Exactly.
Which means we've gone on for too long.
Yep.
We've overstayed our welcome.
So goodbye. Feel free to like and subscribe to our channel if you did like our content.
Yeah, or maybe follow us on Twitter at Protagonist Seat, where I frequently post about how I feel about this season, some things that happen in it, some episodes.
And approximately once a week, a link to our video is posted there.
Yeah, and sometimes I stir up the pot with maybe, about some girls being best girls. Come and disagree.
Miku best girl. Yeah, anyway, goodbye.
Yep, see you next time.